Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch. Sisters who watch. Love Island.
Love Island.
Welcome back to another episode of Sisters Who Watch. We hope you all enjoyed our part 1 review of Love Island USA Season 6, the show of the summer, and I hope you're ready for our part 2 review. Let's get into it.
Clearly, we have a lot of favorite and least favorite moments.
There's a lot to
Should we move on to our categories?
Yes.
Okay, Laura, who or what did you love to hate from Love Island USA Season 6?
I think a lot of people would put Rob in their hate to hate category, but we have Rob here. I think that a lot of people were like, oh, Rob is so attractive and Rob is hot. I see it. Like, I get it. You know, he has that like bad boy cowboy thing. He has those like blue eyes and dark hair. I get it. I do think Rob is attractive, but his personality. And this is remember the tweet from the game? It's like,
he's an onion.
Oh, he's an onion and the girls eat it up. He like says one thing and then the girls are like, oh, I thought that was so funny. Because it's like, why do all the girlies love Rob? Like, he gives us literally nothing. Go on, girl. Give us nothing. Rob gives us the bare minimum. Have you seen his Instagram, Shelby?
It's like just snakes.
I looked at all their Instagram. I was like, Rob's Instagram is crazy. It's just him and snakes.
He, honestly, part of the reason why I think he's in love to hate for me is like, he owns his weirdness. He owns his offbeatness. He owns the fact that he's different. And he beats his own drum. You know, yeah, he wears overalls with a shirt. He's going commando. I'm like, okay.
The overalls were too much. He wore them every other day.
Me, but I respect it. Even though I thought he was overly dramatic, him rolling his eyes, him throwing up his arms, and like saying like one thing, and then the women fawning over it. I'm just like, wow, Rob, I don't know how he does it. Because every girl came in and wanted him. Like every bombshell would be like, oh, Rob. And I'm like, wow, this guy, he just finds a way. So I agree, didn't love his attitude, and he had 9 lives and think should have gone home sooner. But I thought he was good for the show.
Another moment where I was like, oh, this season is starting. This is serious. When him and Leah were on the balcony, and he just started sobbing out of nowhere. Do you remember that? I actually gasped. I was like, what? And you could tell Leah was like, what is going on? She was so confused. And he just was like, you never ask how I feel. And then he was like, wait, this is so... Then he like ran away. He like stripped and he ran and jumped into the pool. And then he was like
hiding. I was like, Rob, you are the most dramatic person I've ever... That's what honestly I'm saying. He's like iconic. He's so dramatic. That's crazy.
And the producers were like showing the sliver in the pool where you can barely see his face. Rob, that was so funny. Something else I have for love to hate. We have Cheez-Its. And one of my favorite moments in the beginning when Serena was like, I don't know if I like Kordell. Like, he doesn't really talk. Like, he's not great at communicating. And she was like, oh yeah, like, what are your goals, Kordell? Like, what do you want to do? Or like, what do you want to do for work and all that? He's like, yeah, like, I model, I do sponsorships. And she's like, oh, like, what kind of sponsorships?
I can't,
he was like,
Laura.
Cheez-Its.
I can't.
And she was like, Cheez-Its?
It was iconic.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, the fact that he didn't really know what long-term goals meant. That is insane. And then once she clarified for you to say sponsorships for Cheez-Its, it's like, oh. Love that for you. You sound like a 22-year-old boy. Got it.
Yes. And then there were moments where you're like, oh yeah, Kordell's a 22-year-old boy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's when it became clear. I was like,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That makes sense. That adds up now.
And speaking of Kordell, we also have Kordell's hair here in Love to Hate. And Shelby and I have different opinions on this. I liked his braids they had in the beginning. Those looked clean, right? He came in with his green outfit. Him and Serena were matching that first night. Like, he looked good. And then he did his braids again. But then, this was happening during Casa. He just looked a whole mess. His hair, like, every episode was just looking wild. And I was like, someone help this boy with his hair. Someone do it.
He needed his girl, Serena. That's who he needed.
And I get it, Kordell. I feel like Kordell and I have, like, the same hair. I was like, I get it. I was like, my hair sometimes, it be looking crazy like that. But I'm like, boy, you're on TV. His hair was just looking rough. There were moments where it's just, like, massive in different directions. I was like, boy, someone help him. Isn't Kendall was like a barber or something? He can help with the hair. I'm like, someone do something for your boy.
He learned how to do his hair during the pandemic, so then he called himself a barber. So I wouldn't go that
Kendall.
far. I don't think Kendall's a barber.
Right.
But I didn't love the braids. I thought they looked a little scraggly, you know? So I actually liked when his like curls were out and about. Could he have done better to like maintain it and shape them? Yes. But that's why one of my favorite moments is like that Serena was doing Kordell's hair. Like, I loved that part. It was great to see her like defining his hair with gel. Like, that is so Black. And the fact that it was on a reality TV show in 2024 just made my day. So I loved that part of it.
Yeah, that was a good moment. What do you have, Shelby, for our hate to hate category?
Shocker, Aaron, our British man who is a deckhand and speaks fluent Spanish and was on the Traders UK. A lot going on. When he said he was a deckhand, all I could think of was Below Deck.
I know. I'm like, was he also on Below Deck? Since he's on every single reality show?
Wouldn't be surprised. He's going from show to show.
No.
I think the big problem with Aaron is that he made it seem like he was a good guy. And then all of a sudden, his true colors came out during Casa. And in the aftermath of Casa, as he was denying it, not owning up to it, being defensive, treating Kaylor like crap, I was like, whoa, you are being mean, and you're spending so much more time and care with Rob than you are with the girl that you apparently love and want to be your girlfriend. It's not adding up. The math's not mathing.
No.
Then Kaylor and Liv, Kaylor's best friend, was like coming to her defense more than him. I was like, what's going on? Do you like Kaylor or not? So yeah, he's the clear hate to hate for me. I think he's the clearest villain of the season because of the way he treated Kaylor, and they just became such a toxic relationship. And I almost fast forwarded through their scenes. I did not want to see them. Like when he enlisted Rob to be a waiter and Meg help him with dinner and serve Kaylor, and him near Soul Ties when he wanted to ask Kaylor to be his girlfriend. I'm like, is this a joke? You were literally just in Casa almost boning Daniela, and now you want to ask Kaylor to be your girlfriend? I'm like, you are
It's not adding up.
No.
It's not adding up. Yeah, I agree. Aaron's a clown. I think the difference between him and Kordell expressed humility and was like, I'm sorry. Right? And he owned it. Whereas Aaron kept on defending what he did. It was like, I'm tired of this conversation. Like, he was like, constantly, like, this is a time for humility, bro. Like, accept it, own it, say you're sorry. And he's like, I already apologized. What else should you want me to say? It's like, you're not getting it. It's so many guys are like that. They're like, I already apologized. Why does this keep on bringing it up? And it's like, I will say, Rob is such an interesting guy. I don't love him, but he did give good advice every now and again. And he was like, well, bro, Kaylor just saw all this for the first time. Of course she's going to be upset. Like, let her feel her feelings. And I was like, oh, wow, men giving men good advice. Wow, it's wild. You don't see that on reality TV. Usually you see men enabling each other like Kendall. Enabling
literally, I know.
But Rob did give Aaron some good advice. So I just really did not like Aaron being so aggressive, and I know his ego was clearly
I genuinely feel like Rob has clearly been around a lot of women and knows what women like and knows how to work with them, deal with them. And I think he uses that knowledge to his advantage. And he also is overly emotive because he thinks that works on women. Like, and he's right. Like, the fact that he cries, the fact that he's like, I have feelings, the fact that he makes it seem like a lot is going on and he's thinking about a lot of things. And then the girlies on Twitter are like, oh my gosh, Rob, he's so sweet. Like, he plays it.
Yeah. And it works. It works.
And he knows how to play those cards.
In this category, you also have Kendall. I just could not root for him. At first I was like, oh, like, Kendall's cute. Like, I did find him. I do still find Kendall, like, physically attractive, but
you do.
Like, I think, like,
he's objectively attractive.
Yes, like, he's objectively attractive, right? So I think Kendall is objectively attractive, but his personality, it makes him so unattractive to me. Brutal. So I'm like, physically, I'm like, I think you are good looking, but then hearing him talk and how it's too much. He's at a 10 all the time. He's like, bro, and he's like screaming and jumping, and it's like, no, take it down 10 notches, Kendall. Take it down.
I know.
I can't take it.
He's a lot.
It's too much.
It's weird. It's like he doesn't have like a lot of emotional intelligence or something.
None.
Like, it's missing. He does like too much all the time.
Right?
Like, he's a too much guy.
He acts like he's best friends with all the girls, and then he's being shady behind their backs and enabling all the men and being like, oh, bro, like, Day is so much better for you than Serena. I've never seen you so happy. Go for it. And he's like so excited to see Daniela and Aaron making out, and it's just weird. He doesn't have that sensitivity and emotional intelligence for me.
And he is like, goes where the wind blows. It's like, oh, whoever I'm with right now, I'm gonna be their buddy. I'm gonna trust them. Yes. And it's like, wait, who's your loyalty to? Are you actually a good friend, or what's going on?
And did you hear about and see what happened with him?
So I literally was, of course, obsessed with Love Island USA. So I was all on Twitter after the aftermath of like who won. And then I saw Kendall was trending, and I was like, why is Kendall trending? So I literally like looked it up, and this explicit video was leaked of him. And I was like, oh no, like that's the worst thing that could happen. Like, I thought it was like, maybe he had said something in his past, or like maybe he and Nicole broke up. Like, I had no idea what it could be, but I was like, an explicit video of him was released. I'm like, poor guy. That's the last thing I would have thought.
Not
so good. I actually felt bad.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, feel really bad for him. Basically, he sent, this like naked video of himself to a friend. And he said a trusted person, because he put like an Instagram story out about it. He's like, thanks for all the love and the support, everyone. Like, it's tough, but I sent this to someone I thought I could trust, and then they released it. So people were like, we hope he sues. Because, right, it's like revenge porn.
You gotta be careful who you trust.
Yeah, careful what
you
put on video and what you send.
Oh my gosh.
You never know. So, yeah, I feel bad from there. But on the show, very little redeeming, I must say.
Agreed.
So, and lastly, for Hate to Hate, I have never seen so much crying on a reality show. And it happened like within the first couple days. I was like, how are they already crying? Every episode, Kaylor was sobbing.
Oh my god.
Sobbing. And see, like, we saw Serena crying. We saw Rob crying a lot. Like, all the girls. I had never seen anything like it. And it felt, we watch a lot of reality TV. And I've never seen so much crying. It stood out to me so much. What did you think about the tears?
I thought Kaylor was the worst by far. And she'd be like, fuck! Aaron! She was not a cute crier. And not that you have to be a cute crier, but girl, you cried a lot and it did not look the best.
And her accent was so interesting. It was like kind of southern, kind of
Midwest. And I'm like, well, she's from like kind of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, which is basically like, Western Pennsylvania is like Midwest. So I was like, okay, I guess she's a Midwestern girly, but she was a lot. So I thought she was by far the worst. But to your point, it's like, Rob crying. Every time someone would be dumped, they would all bawl. Like when Liv was dumped, when Andrea was dumped, when Connor was dumped. I was
Bizarre.
like, when
Y'all
Aaron
known
thought,
these people for 3 days.
yeah, I'm like, why are you guys bawling? When Aaron thought Rob might be dumped, he started to cry. I was like, these are on edge. I was like, something's in the water in Fiji because at the
JaNa
drop
was crying
of
a lot.
pin, they were all bawling.
Sobbing. It was alarming. It was alarming how much crying there was. What? Oh my gosh. Okay. What do you have for Love to Love, Shelby? Our final category.
I feel like Soul Ties is USA's version of The Terrace. It was the spot where everyone would go for a private chat or even sleep when they needed to get away from the rest of the villa. And I honestly thought it was hilarious. And similar to The Terrace, you'd be like, oh, they're in Soul Ties. Oh, let's go to Soul Ties. Soul Ties. They're in Soul Ties? That's crazy. Like, it was just hilarious.
Soul Ties is crazy. In the words of Leah, Soul Ties is crazy. Yeah.
It was just funny how the name of that little daybed became, like, such a thing.
Soul Ties? Yeah.
Yeah, Soul Ties. It was like, oh, Soul Ties? Soul Ties. It just felt like if you were playing a drinking game, you were drunk every episode because Soul Ties was mentioned, like, a lot. So I thought that was hilarious and, like, fun because I hadn't watched Love Island USA, right? So it was cool to see what their version of, like, The Terrace was. I also really liked the obsession with avocado toast. It was like, have you guys never heard of avocado toast before? Like, is this new to you? Like, it was so funny to me because I feel like avocado toast had a moment a few years ago to me, but it was hilarious that making breakfast every day, they're like, oh my gosh, avocado toast. Like, it was such a thing. And I was like, maybe it's just because they feel great about themselves that they're making breakfast, and then the girls are happy that they're getting breakfast. But avocado toast was made to be this, like, big deal. And I saw a meme that it was like Islanders after they make avocado toast, and it was like a picture of Carmi from The Bear. And I was like, honestly, that's what they were, like, making it seem like. Every time they made
ate with this avocado toast
or
scrambled eggs,
made an iced coffee, or scrambled eggs, they, like, lost their minds. I was like, wow.
Yeah, and they're always like, oh, what do you want for breakfast? Girl, it's the same thing every single day. Avocado toast and scrambled eggs.
Hilarious. Come on, what are they going to do? Are they going to make pancakes? You might be lucky if they make bacon. Hilarious.
Yeah.
What about you?
You have here PPG.
Yes. Powerpuff Girls. Leah, JaNa, and Serena. Loved the trio. It's funny because they're 3 OGs, right? So they were in the villa from the jump. And they had some rough patches, like when Leah was kind of with Connor after JaNa, and then was actually like, I don't like Connor. But, like, it was like, what's going on? I liked that they were friends and loyal. And, like, I'd say Liv was also in that. Like, I guess all the girls were kind of loyal, but it was really JaNa, Serena, and Leah that were the 3 amigas.
And I'm not the biggest Leah fan, but I can appreciate her. Like, I understand why she's really popular, right? She's funny. She's unapologetically her. She's very memeable. So I get it, but I definitely am Serena and JaNa fans. As we've talked about this on the podcast a lot, we watch a lot of reality TV. And typically, Black women like Serena and JaNa don't get the love they deserve on these shows. They're always in some way massively disrespected. And to see, like, 2 chocolate dark-skinned Black women just, like, thriving and being loved and appreciated, I was like, wow.
Being desired. Not, being the last choice. Being the first choice. Being chosen. Okay?
Yes.
That
period.
Is important. Because I saw people saying, like, why would Kenny want to be with JaNa? Or, like, is that really real? Like, is it, a strategy? And I'm like, stop it. Would you say that if it was Liv? No. You're just saying that with because
a white girl
JaNa is a dark-skinned Black woman and you don't think you could actually like her. I'm like, people need to stop. But I think that's how people are conditioned and like to think of Black women on these shows. Like, they have to be with another Black person, or like they can't be desired by someone who's non-Black. So it honestly felt really good like you said, to see them loved, desired, wanted. And I think part of the reasons why so many Black people were really into the season and why I've been telling Black people to watch, because I'm like, this is enjoyable. You're going to feel good. I'm telling you.
We win, finally.
We win. Like, it's actually a good story. Like, if it didn't end well, I would not be recommending it.
Facts. Yeah, that's wild that people are saying, oh, Kenny doesn't actually like JaNa.
Laura.
Because, right, our society is conditioned and the media is conditioned when, like, a light-skinned Black man, specifically, that they will like a white woman or, right, a more fair-skinned Black woman. Like, you typically don't see in the media a dark-skinned Black woman and a more fair-skinned man. Like, that just, that's not as likely, right? You see them with, like, a Zendaya or, like, Catherine, right? The girl he chose in Casa. Yeah, so you don't see that often. So for someone to be like, why would he like JaNa? I'm like, dang, triggered.
It's very triggering. I also saw people saying how they liked seeing a Black woman and, like, a Latinx man together. Yeah. Because you don't see that often. You usually see the Latinx woman with a Black man. Yes. Of course, right? You see that so much these days. And again, just kind of counteracting, like, the media and the stereotypes and showing that, the Black woman can be desired in that situation. It doesn't always have to be the other way around.
Exactly. So it was just refreshing to see JaNa and Kenny, and that's why they were my favorite couple. And they got my vote in the end.
So funny because I didn't know they were your ship too, but they were mine. And then when you said that, I was like, of course.
I know, we didn't know who we voted for.
No. And I was like, I had a feeling Serena and Kordell would win, so I was like, let me put my vote towards JaNa and Kenny.
Yes. And they were my favorite couple, period. So
I know, they were so cute. Oh.
Yes. And right, we do love to love that Serena and Kordell won. It did feel correct, yes. I will say, right? They were together from day one. They had
a great story.
A true arc, right? We saw so many ups and downs from Serena kind of getting icked out, friend zoning him, and then him winning her back and her falling hard. Casa, they had a true roller coaster.
Yes.
And so it was just cool to see them get stronger towards the end, and them winning did feel correct.
It really did.
Yeah.
I loved how they started with matching outfits in green on the first day and ended with matching outfits.
So good.
On the last day.
So
Pink
good.
And green. That's right. Great colors.
That's it.
I also loved that their final date, like the movie night, and it was like the movie of their love. I was like, that's right, because they had a great love story. That's why I felt like they deserved to win. Like you said, they were the show from the beginning to the end.
Yes, 100%. And I mentioned that JaNa and Kenny were my favorite couple. And let me explain why. I do like Serena and Kordell. I did vote for JaNa and Kenny because I like them better. I think, right, Serena, she's smart, right? She's also an AKA. She's Shelby's sister.
That's right.
Fellow soror. I think they're both like jokesters and funny, and they clearly get along well. I just think, like, is Kordell on her level? I just don't know if intellectually, like, they're there. I in my head, Serena seems too good for Kordell. So and that we kind of saw that in the beginning when she was like, yeah, like when we have conversations, I just don't know if he's like really there.
I can't.
And she would be like, oh yeah, this, and that. And then Kordell would be like, oh yeah, like
I can't.
That's so cool. Like he wouldn't really understand what she's talking about and would just agree with her. I just don't know if they're at the same level, like intellectually.
But
fair. They get along and are really sweet and fun. I just don't know if I think that Kordell is the right match for Serena. But I do like them. So that's kind of how I feel about them as a couple. How about you?
That's fair. I hadn't really thought of it in that way. I just saw how much he was into her, right? Like he clearly felt something and had a connection right away. And then eventually seeing Serena get to that point, it just felt like they had that connection, that like undeniable chemistry. I definitely think the fact she's 24, he's 22, and he gives like a young 22. I do think
it's a big difference.
the age thing could be a factor. But I do think, right, they're both Texas babies. They both have kind of like a nerdy, funny energy. They love to laugh. Like, I do think they mesh well. To your point, intellectually different levels. I think age-wise different levels. So I'm curious to see on the outside how it'll be. But I think as well with JaNa, Kenny's 24 and she's 27. So there's another age gap there. But Kenny does seem more mature than Kordell.
Definitely. Okay, so we have some one-liners here that we love to love. We're going to go through some of our favorites.
For Serena, when she's kind of like, venting about Kordell and why she's not going to get back with him, she's like, you made your bed, now hump in it.
Love.
So good. Like, I genuinely hear that and I just laugh every time. Like, it's hilarious. He was humping in the bed and he made his bed, so he better hump in it now. Similarly, when she's talking about Kordell and Dea and like what he did, she's like, ew, what's that smell? Smells like bitch. I'm like, oh, she was not playing around at all. It was hilarious.
Yes.
And then the last one of hers I really like was when she was like, I support women's rights and wrongs.
You better speak on it. Stand up for your girls.
Make it a shirt. Basically saying like, yeah, I'm always supporting women no matter what, even if we make mistakes. I was like, that's right.
Heard
rights
that.
And wrongs, girl.
Yeah, I love that. Is something I'm going to say. I'm like, I support women's rights and wrongs. It's so good. It's so good.
So good.
And we've talked about how much we love JaNa.
Oh, JaNa is great.
Kenny. I love when she says that. Kenny. Like,
anytime she said Kenny's name, I was obsessed.
I love her. And I loved her obsession with, like, marriage. And she was like, yeah, I'm here to find a husband. And when, I think it was after recoupling, JaNa was like, I'm getting married. In one of the confessionals. And she's like, I'm just playing, but you're invited to the wedding.
Her confessionals
I was crying
iconic.
when she was like, I'm getting married. I loved that moment so much.
Funny.
And she's also talking to Kenny, and she's like, how many kids do you want? And he's like, I want 2. She's like, well, I want 4, and you want 2. So we'll compromise at 4. And just like keeps on going. She's so funny.
Hilarious. She honestly felt like the narrator of the season. Truly.
100%. And imagine if we got to see more of Andrea and JaNa got to go home. Imagine if that happened.
No, like that's what, like, she needed to be in the show. Like, it worked out. She was too important.
I think that the producers, because you know how on UK, some, like, they'll have the boys pick a girl to stay, a girl to leave, and they'll have the girls pick the boy to leave. I think they purposely did it so that the girls pick, that they kept JaNa. Because they knew the boys were going to send JaNa home. So they were like, no, we need the girls to keep JaNa. So I also clocked that.
That's a good point. And they knew the boys would keep Rob.
Correct.
And Gendel, that's for sure. Hakeem had no chance. And then, of course, we have some lines for Leah.
So this was when she was ranting to the girls, and this was what they showed in the movie night clip. After he literally did his one up there, that was like a movie, he stood up there and said, now you're sending me 3 home. And you're still here, bitch, in your overalls. Now what? That was really funny. And then when she was in her confessional, this is after the tweet.
Iconic line.
Suck my dick. Whatever you heard about me, times it by a
million. And if you think it's bad,
make it worse.
Iconic.
Where did you pick that out of thin air?
Laura, the amount of times I've seen people do that, like on TikTok or Instagram, like, I feel like that alone made her blow up.
Yes.
Like, who even comes up with that? Like you said.
Did a producer feed that to her?
Hilarious.
Whatever you heard about me, times by a million. If you think it's bad, make it worse. And this is why the internet loves Leah. This
She's
is why
made for being an influencer. She's made to be a comedian. It comes to her naturally.
Okay, on to red flag, green flag. 1, 2, 3, our game. Okay, Shelby. Is it a red flag to date younger men like JaNa and Serena? Both of younger men.
I normally would say yes, because typically men take longer to mature and women mature quicker. So if you have that dynamic of an older woman with a younger man, typically you're going to feel like miles apart in terms of maturity. And the last thing you want is an immature man. So right now, modern day dating, I'd say yes, that's a red flag. But, you see it. You see celebrities do it. Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher back in the day. It happens, and it sometimes works for people. Like Aaron Taylor Johnson. Remember, he's with, I'm forgetting her name, that woman. They have like a pretty big age gap. Priyanka Chopra's with Nick Jonas. Like, it can work. But in my opinion, I do think it is usually a red flag. On the Love Island case, JaNa is happy with Kenny. Serena's happy with Kordell. We'll see what happens. But I normally do think, especially like in your 20s, when I think there's such a big difference from like 22 to like 24 or 24 versus 27, like I think it can be red.
Yeah, I am surprised. I do agree Kenny seems pretty mature. That crying moment after, oh my gosh, when he's crying in the hallway, oh, that broke my heart. I think that Kenny gives more mature. Kordell gives immature to me. So I think normally it's a red flag. But I think in this situation, I think these couples work for me. So yeah, not a red flag.
Okay, Laura. Question for you. Is it a green flag to stay loyal in Casa Amor like all the ladies did this season?
Okay, I think in Love Island, especially, that these men are not going to stay loyal. Like, you have to kind of go into that mindset. Like, okay, they're probably, going to date someone, you have to think like that. And this reminds me of Ella and Tyreek, right? Last year.
That's what I was thinking too.
Right? Ella brought someone back because she was like, it's kind of like insurance, right?
There's no way
Tyreek gave you,
loyal.
yes. Tyreek has given you no implication, no trust that he would stay loyal to you, right? He's been dogging you all season. So yeah, bring someone back. I think for the woman, bring someone back, right? Like, you never know. And I feel like you can win the guy back. But because, right, you saw 5 out of the 6 guys in Casa were messing around and were not staying loyal to you in that villa. So is it a green flag to stay loyal on Love Island and Casa Amor? No. For a man, yes. I think for a woman, you better be dating and exploring, because these men are, and even on UK, the men were menacing in Casa Amor too. Will, Sean, even if they didn't bring someone back, they're still making out with these girls in bed.
I know.
Like, just being so messy. So no, do not stay loyal in Casa Amor, ladies. You better be dating around. You better.
Okay, Laura. Well, overall, how are we feeling about Love Island USA season 6?
It is most definitely a watch. As someone who has never had no desire to watch Love Island USA, because I'd heard from multiple people. And even this summer, a lot of people I've met are watching USA for the first time and are usually UK watchers, because notoriously UK is significantly better. I've only heard bad things about USA. So, and even, right, I heard now that Ariana was the host, a lot of people are like, oh, like, maybe I'll watch it just for Ariana. But I was like, no, I don't just want to watch it because she's there. Because the host is not really,
she's not there that much.
Like, she's not there that much. She doesn't make the show. So, but once everyone was talking about it, and my good friends who are big Love Island people were like, UK is bad. Watch US. Like, multiple people were like, US is way better this season. So I was convinced, and they did not lead me astray. High quality reality television, including the whole world, the whole country is talking about it. It's breaking all these streaming records. It's a watch. It's hands down a watch.
Hands down a watch. Completely agree. One of the best shows I've seen in a minute. It had everything you want. It was dramatic. It was messy. It was entertaining. There's actually love and like real relationships and people that liked each other.
Yes.
real friendships. So because of that, it just felt like a very fulfilling season of reality TV. And I think a lot of times these shows can feel shallow and boring, but this did not. It really hit. I was very satisfied by the end.
Yes. And I also mentioned this to you. I was like, oh, some people, specifically people of color, like Love Island USA more than The Bachelor and other shows because it tends to be more diverse. And right, we saw all season lots of Black women, people of color, and right, the finale, very diverse. And people are like, oh, there's no white people in the finale. But isn't Leah Armenian?
I do
like
think
she's Eastern European. She's white.
I do think she said she's Persian.
Okay.
Like, depending how you feel, you know, maybe that's Middle Eastern, maybe it's Eastern European. It could even be like North African. She definitely is probably more of a white woman, but you know, when you're kind of in that like Middle Eastern, like Persian, you don't really know how to identify. Like, you don't know what box to click. Like, she probably should be the Caucasian box, but I don't know if she checks that.
Yeah, I thought she said Armenian the first episode because I was like, oh, Kardashian. I remember specifically remembering
hearing
that.
Persian.
Maybe, you know, but yeah, my understanding was that Leah was white. Maybe I'm wrong because people were like, all POC finale. And I was like, what? But, you know, yeah, if people know, let us know if there's any confirmation.
Yeah, she's Iranian. Yeah. So she's...
Oh, Iran?
Yeah, she's Iranian.
Okay.
She's Persian, Middle Eastern, so...
Got it. Okay.
Weird in between. Yeah, I feel like I know people that are like, yeah, when you're Middle Eastern, it's like, I don't know what box you check. How do you feel? Yeah. Do you consider yourself Asian? Do you consider yourself European? You know.
Right.
I do think you could say it was all POC, you know? Because Nicole, you know, she's biracial.
She's half Asian.
Half Asian. So we love to see that diversity. And I do think it's ironic that I feel like such a diverse show, like Love Island's going on, while our, like, politics in countries very polarized. Because I'm like, if y'all watch Love Island, this is our country. This is what it looks like. This is who we are. And we can all bond over this show, yet we're fighting in politics. I'm like, make it make sense.
Yeah, so I think that this season's definitely a watch. And it is cool to see, right? Black women winning. Literally winning.
Love that.
Yeah, it was really refreshing. Really refreshing. On to our What to Watch segment. What's coming up related to Love Island, Shelby?
Yes. Well, they're having a reunion, which is so exciting. Can't wait. So the season 6 reunion is going to be on August 19th. Apparently it's going to be filming in New York. And
should we go?
I don't know when it's being filmed.
Oh, right. We don't know because, yeah, Shelby and I are going to be in New York during that time.
I mean, we can look into it. I don't know. Are they doing a live studio audience? I'm screaming. We should see. But yeah, it's being filmed in New York because Ariana is, you know, going to be on Broadway.
Yes.
Doing Chicago for the month of August. So it has to be filmed in New York. And I'm thrilled because apparently there's already been a lot of drama and tea. Like, of course, this always happens whenever you leave the villa. People have things to say. And apparently a lot of the people that have been dumped early are chit-chatting a lot and have a lot of things to say. Shocking. So I'm curious if they're going to bring that energy to the reunion. And I'm also curious to see if the couples will all still be together.
Okay, who do you think is going to be together still?
I'm concerned for Kaylor and Aaron. Because if I'm Kaylor and I'm watching this back and I'm seeing all the things people are saying on social media and publicly, I would realize, like, being with him is also probably a detriment to, like, my brand. Like, Kaylor, if you want to be, like, an influencer, being with Aaron is probably not the solution. And he made you look like a clown. He made you look a fool. Like, if I watched this all back and saw what people were saying, I'd be like, there's no way I could be with this man. Personally, but also, like, professionally, if she's trying to, like, make a career. Like, he's not good for you. So I don't think they're going to be together. I also feel like Kendall and Nicole, the last time I checked, like, they hadn't really been posting about each other. And I feel like that's a bad sign. Like, everyone else has photos of their booze on their story and Instagram. And the fact that Nicole hasn't, I'm like, are you already second guessing your relationship with Kendall? So I would keep tabs on Kendall and Nicole, and then Kaylor and Aaron. Those are my biggest concerns. I think PPG and their couples will be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think the couples that will not be together, Aaron and Kaylor, Kendall and Nicole. I think Leah and Miguel, we also just didn't see that much of them on the season.
People were complaining. I was honestly complaining I didn't get enough of JaNa and Kennedy, but I think they finally turned it up by giving them the hideaway and like showing more of them, because I think they realized people wanted to see it.
Yes.
And I agree, we didn't see much of Leah and Miguel, and apparently like fans have been complaining because there is more of them. We just didn't get it.
I would be surprised if JaNa and Kenny and Serena and Kordell are not together. Everyone else, I would not be surprised if they broke up, personally.
Hey, fingers crossed everyone's still together, but I doubt it.
Yeah. Also, Ariana Madix, you mentioned she's going to be on Broadway for the month of August. Chicago the Musical. Shelby and I are going to try and go because we're going to be in town. So yeah. Well, maybe we'll review Ariana Madix on Chicago. Maybe we'll do that. Ooh.
I'm screaming. That's hilarious. I'm here for it. And then, of course, if you want to watch other Love Island franchises and seasons, Love Island UK season 11 is about to end. I have started Love Island UK season 5, which everyone says is an iconic season. There's Love Island Australia. So there's so much Love Island. You go back and watch other USA seasons. Doubt I'll be doing that. Oh, Love Island Games. Highly recommend.
Go watch that.
That show was so good. So yeah, there's so much Love Island you could watch if you're like me and you're already missing it in your life. The second Love Island USA ended, I started Love Island UK season 5. I was upset.
She's hooked, folks. She's hooked. She can't
honestly am like, I need my Love Island water bottle. I'm like, I want one with my name on it. I don't want this.
You can buy one online. They are quite cute. I do like them.
I want one. It's pink and white. Perfect for me.
Perfect. I can't. Well, y'all, if you enjoyed this super-sized, jam-packed episode of Island USA, please make sure you give the girlies at Sisters Who Watch 5 stars wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, 5 stars, please. And there's so many ways you can support us. You can follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, all at Sisters Who Watch. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. You can also support us through listener support on Spotify, where you can send money to us monthly. And you can also support us at Zelle, sisterswhowatch@gmail.com on Zelle too.
Yes. And we really want to hear from y'all. So please comment and like all of our social media posts on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can comment on our YouTube posts as well. And on Spotify, they now have a comment feature for our episodes. We also would love you to email us, let us know what we should be watching, and if you have any recommendations. And we just want to hear from y'all and have a community of our Sisters Who Watch listeners. Yes. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, Islanders. Stay watching.
Islanders. Stay watching.